Hi guys, my name is Franco Tenelli and this is Science of Singing. Today I'm going to talk about dramatic voices, or how today's technology make lyric voices dramatic voices. First of all, let me define you what is dramatic voice. You check out my live definitions in Vocal Terms Dictionary, you will get more detailed information. But all I want to say, in order for voice to qualify as dramatic, we cannot just qualify the voice as dramatic, it's the whole personality. You have to have a very strong projective voice, number one. Preferably of a dark quality, number two. And the singer that plays or sings dramatic role should also have a dramatic impact on the audience, not just a vocal impact but dramatic impact. That is so-called true dramatic voice. That type of true dramatic voices are very, very, very rare. They come like few in a century, believe me or not. So I can name to you, to my point, is Loritz Melchior, for example, or Giuseppe Giacomini. What is important to know is how today's technology turns true lyric voices into dramatic voices. Now, let me give you an example. That example shows that if you have a dark voice, or you darken your voice, but of course when you artificially darken your voice, your projection goes down because the chiaroscuro balance is interrupted. So the chiaroscuro balance has to be there in order to be acoustically projective and dramatic. But when you reduce chiaro and you put your larynx in more low position, your voice becomes darker. Not necessarily more projective, but darker. So if you try this trick in acoustic environment, in real acoustic place where it's not amplified, you will be just simply lost. Your voice will be not audible or unsatisfiably audible. Now, if you have a certain amplification in a house, and especially if you have a personal mic, which I have to tell you the difference, because some opera houses do use amplifications. For example, New York City Opera. The reason for them using that amplification is because New York City Opera is really a bad acoustics for singers. It was created to serve a ballet rather than singing. Therefore, they put some mics around and they kind of make it acoustic live. They don't amplify anybody's personally, but they're just making an acoustic live. So there's certain feelings of a great acoustic whole, which is not. Now, Metropolitan Opera House is big, huge, intimidating, but it has a great acoustics, so it doesn't need really, if you have a real opera voice, it doesn't need to be amplified. Why it fools us so much when we hear on DVDs and some live productions, it gives us the absolutely idea that we're hearing a true dramatic voice in some instances. Because that is the technology. And that technology is connected to also the so-called proximity effect. It means if the mic is at least 3 feet from you and more, from 3 to 9 feet, the mic gives more or less a good balanced recording of what your voice is. If it's too far, then the mic is not realistic either. And if it's too close, the mic becomes a tool for mixing up different components of your voice. For example, the close mic is giving you more of the scuro and at the same time puts it in balance with chiaro. So if you're basically recording, and it all depends on the mic too, but if you're recording as a classical singer, if you want to have a realistic sound of your voice, the mic should be at least 3 feet from you. But if you want to make a little bit impact of how large your voice is, how dark it is, though of course the mic will be very close to your mouth. And then it's not only power, but the whole sense of the darkness in the voice, which is so liked in dramatic roles, is put up with this particular technology. So let me demonstrate to you, and you will realize how deceptive it is, because some of you who love opera never had a chance probably to give and visit a real opera performance, or if you had, then you're not a goer, you know, you don't going every new opening night. You like to listen to the DVD, and DVDs, YouTubes and everything, they are very deceptive. You cannot judge, I repeat, you cannot judge and say, oh, this is a huge voice, oh my God, this is a huge voice. You don't know how it was recorded and how it was done. It includes anything. It includes just simple, I'm not saying that it is not. If you hear dramatic voice in the recording, that it is necessarily not dramatic voice. But I think you can know tools to judge, because it is recorded and you don't know what kind of technology it was recorded with. Now, the most reliable technology was, though not perfect in terms of the sound, it was when the mics were situated away from singers on at least 6 and more feet in an opera house, and so it basically was very close to what audience heard during the performance. Now this technology is gone, so they're using more precise mics, more ample, even the laser directed mics who can, let's say, be on a distance, and they're very focused mics. You know what focused mics is? So they can telescopic mics. They take the sound from when you aim. You can have it in your amateur camera also. Like my Sony camera has extension for this type of the mic. I don't have the mic, but if you want to record a particular sound from, let's say, from your neighbor, and it's almost like CIA, you know, you can focus the sound, and the microphone, you can focus in a certain area. So let me now demonstrate you the proximity effect, and you understand how technology plays with our ears and with the reality. And I would say that for some of you, that's good news, because most of you don't have this powerful dramatic voice, but they love drama and they love to be dramatic actors, but they will never be in a real acoustic environment. So with today's technology, you might have a voice of Nemorino, and you can be singing Otello or Zygmunt or Tristan, you know, you name it, if you have a certain color in your voice, not necessarily the power. So let me demonstrate you right now in my studio how the proximity effect works on voices. Okay, this is the phrase from Celeste Aida, Se quel guerriero fossi, and I'm around 4 feet away from the camera and from the mic, so that's a normal distance. I'd like to sing normally, like I would normally sing. Let's compare the sound to some other sounds that a microphone itself creates. So, Se quel guerriero fossi, normal projection. The distance between the mic and me are approximately the same as from my left hand to my right hand. So this is the distance. Se quel guerriero fossi, se il mio sogno s'avverasse. So this is the normal production. Now let me sing it with closer mic and with a darker sound, which is almost 2.5 times, I don't know if I'm measuring it right, but 2.5 times less projective than the sound that I showed to you. Now, we're all comparing recordings, definitely. You're not comparing the real acoustic sounds. That's what this program is all about. To see how the microphone fools you guys. Okay, let's do another experiment. Now the distance is that my hand can reach the camera. So it's very close. It's not that close, but still. So, this is the sound. I'm darkening it on purpose. I'm making it more dark by lowering the larynx. Se quel guerriero fossi, se il mio sogno s'avverasse. You hear, this sound has more darkness in it than the other one. And why the closed microphone fools us so? Because closed microphones, they like round sounds, they like scuro, you know, not much of the chiaro. The chiaro is automatic with them, but they like scuro. So when you hear scuro and you're closing the mic, then you have a full effect of the dramatic, dark, huge voice. When far away from the mic, then your voice, which has that much scuro, the scuro dies acoustically after 6 feet, 7 feet, and the farther you go, the scuro is almost not projective. It's a beautiful, of course. I'm not saying that you should not have scuro. I said always you have to have a balance to have a beautiful voice. But if you're singing in real acoustic opera house, then you absolutely need this great balance. Why this issue came out? Because I know there's lots of singers who are complaining about the secrecy of these amplifications. A kind of sense of the unfairness towards those singers who are really singing with their voices and working hard, and those who sing with the mics. I already mentioned that in some of my previous programs. I just didn't show you how this particular effect works to convince you that the recording is, if not always, but 99% is lying to you, so you cannot really judge neither the power nor anything else when you have such a recording, you know? Because in recording you can have a balanced voice actually coming as a leading voice out of the orchestra. It's like if you record, not amplifying necessarily, because all the performances are recorded, so they are recorded with the mics definitely. So that's already a lie. You don't have the same acoustic balance in a recording in comparison to the real acoustic ambience and the real acoustic projection. So if you had this chance to listen to the same performance that was recorded later and you heard it without amplification and real pure acoustic, you will say, oh my goodness, this sounds so different. You might like it, you might dislike it, but you said it sounds so different. I can hear clearly the voice that I couldn't hear before. So that is technology now coming not only for recordings but the all live performances. So this is a good news for small voices, because eventually, you know, they have to give up this secrecy. I mean, everybody's talking about it today, and they will do something about it, and probably they will start doing it all over the all big opera houses, then middle opera houses, then it will turn into a Broadway type of productions. Not in essence, but in terms of technology. In that sense, you know, there's a good news for small voices who want to be dramatic. I can name here very easily those voices who are not dramatic, but very much sold as dramatic and bought as dramatic. But it will be better for you and better for the program that if you mention those names that you think are unfairly amplified and unfairly put into the category of dramatic talent. So expect from you to have some discussions on that, on some notes. Please put your concerns, because some people simply don't want the opera to turn into a Broadway, but this process already started, so maybe we should think how to stop it, for those who want to stop it. And for those who don't want to stop it, lobby against it, and you will have a great Broadway opera not more than 20 years from now. Thank you very much. Bye.
Se quel guerriero fossi, se il mio sogno s'avverasse, se quel guerriero